All right. So the question here says determine the value for n, supposed to be n and not x. So let's correct that. Determine the value for n for which 4 times n combination 2 is equals to n plus 2 combination 3. If I want to rewrite this equation, we can write it as 4 times n combination 2 is equals to n plus 2 combination 3. Now this is what the equation is all about. Now, do you know that from what you learned under permutation and combination, n combination r is the same thing as what? N factorial divided by n minus r factorial r factorial. This is the expression rather for n combination r. So in this case, we are going to take the right hand side first, the left hand side, and then take the right hand side later. So if I have 4 times n combination 2, we can write it as n factorial divided by, in this case now our arrow is 2, gives us n minus 2, because we say minus arrow factorial, then 2 factorial. Now this will give us 4 times n factorial means you should be subtracting 1 from n while you are multiplying it with n. So I know some of you may want to find issue with that statement. This is what it is. It means you should write n, then multiply by n minus 1. So here it gives us n minus 1. It should continue like that. But if you have something that can divide it under, there's no need of continuing it. So this is n minus 1. If you subtract 1 from this n minus 1, it's going to give us n minus 2 factorial divided by n minus 2 factorial, then 2 factorial. 2 factorial is the same as 2 times 1. This n minus 2 can cancel n minus 2. So what do you think we have? We have 4 times n bracket n minus 1 all divided by 2 times 1 is 2. So 2 here, 1, 2 here will give us 2. So this left hand side will give us 2n bracket what? N minus 1. That is for the left hand side. Now let us work with the right hand side. The right hand side of this equation says n plus 2 combination 3. So this n plus 2 combination 3 can also be written as n plus 2 combination 3. Let's write it out first. N plus 2 factorial divided by n plus 2. You know you are combining it with 3. So you subtract 3 because the formula says n factorial all over n minus 1, n minus r factorial. In this case, our r is 3 and our n is n plus 2. All factorial, then r factorial, which is 3 factorial. Now, from what we've learned so far, we said we'll be subtracting 1 from each of these. So this is going to give us n plus 2. If you subtract 1 from here, you multiply. So it will give us n plus 1, because if you subtract 1 from n plus 2, it will now be n plus 2 minus 1, which is going to give us n plus 1. Subtract 1 from n plus 1 is going to give us n. Then subtract 1 from n is going to give us what? N minus 1. Everything, because of space, we end it here, divided by n plus 2 minus 3. 2 minus 3 will give us minus 1. So we have n minus 1 factorial. Now that was the reason why we ended this as n minus 1, because we know that n minus 1 factorial can cancel n minus 1 factorial on top. And then 3 factorial. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1. n minus 1 factorial cancel n minus 1 factorial. So what do we have left? N plus 2. Then here is what? N plus 1. And here is what? N. All divided by 6. So we have our left hand side and we also have our right hand side to this thing. So what we are going to do now is come here. What was what we have on our right hand side, left hand side rather, we have 2n bracket n minus 1. What do we have on our right hand side? We have n plus 2 bracket n plus 1 bracket n, right? Then divided by 6. Is that okay? Now, at the end of the day, what do you think we are now going to have? This n here, now, you should note that this n here can cancel this n from here. So what do you think we have? It's going to be 2 multiplied by this will give us what? 2 multiplied by n minus 1 is equals to n plus 2 bracket n plus 1 divided by 6. Is that okay? Now, at the end of the day, we can cross multiply. So if we cross multiply, 6 multiplied by this will give us 12 bracket n minus 1 is equals to n plus 2 bracket n plus 1. Is that okay? Now, at the end of the day, 12 times n will give us what? 12n minus 12 times 1 will give us 12 is equals to n multiplied by n will give us what? N squared plus n times 1 will give us n plus n times 2 will give us what? 2n. 2 times 1 will give us what? 2. So at the end of the day, you have 12n minus 12 is equals to n squared plus 3n plus 2. Now, what do you think we can actually do? We can take this, what is it called? Everything here to the other side. Is that okay? So that here will be equal to 0. So we can write it as n squared plus 3n plus 2. Now, if this 12n crosses to this side, become minus 12n. This plus 12n crosses to this side, become what? Plus 12. Everything should be equals to what? 0. So our n squared, now you can rearrange. This will give us 3n minus 12n plus 2 plus 12 is equals to 0, which will give us n squared. 3n minus 12n will give us what? Minus 9n plus 2 plus 12 will give us what? 14 is equals to 0. Now, what do we do from here? You factorize. To get the value of what? N, you factorize. So, this is a quadratic equation. You're going to look for two values that when you add them, they will give us minus 9n. And when you multiply them, you're going to give us 14n squared. What are those two values? Those two values are minus 2n minus 7n plus 14 equals to 0. So n is common here. You look at what is common between this n and 2n. N is common here, so you take it out. So this gives us n minus 2, because if n divided n squared is going to give us n. N divided by 2n is going to give us 2. Minus, what do you think is common between 7n and 14? 7 can go into 14, 7 can go into 7. So we say 7, bracket. 7n divided by 7 will give us what? 7. Will give us n rather. Negative to positive will give us negative. 14 divided by 7 will give us 2. Everything equals to 0. Now what is common? These two are common, so you take 1, n minus 2, and then what you are left with here is n minus 7 equals to 0. Now, you collect one of these, and then you collect this and this. By now, you are supposed to have learned how to solve quadratic equations. So that at the end of the day, your answer will be n minus 2 is equals to 0, and n minus 7 is equals to 0. So your answer is n is equals to 2, or n is equals to 7. But if this one crosses to this side, give us 2. This one crosses to this side, give us 7. So this is the answer to this question. All right. Thank you very much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.